This plane has been a nightmare. It's taken us 4 separate attempts in 4 separate locations all over the Spanish peninsula to make it fly. First impressions, F18, really cool airplane, really cool model, especially now coinciding with Top Gun, everyone wants one.
Entering Point Alpha, confirm green range.
However, there's a lot more going on than there seems. Got twin turbines, we've got flaps and ailerons, ailerons that work as flaps, tailerons that act as ailerons, air brakes, working air canopy, working tail hook, twin rudders that also act as flaps. There's a lot going on, and on this particular model, unfortunately, air wasn't our friend. Every time we went out, we've had air issues. Even today, the retracts aren't working properly, but at least now she's actually flying. The first attempt was in Jaén. Now, we couldn't film at that location due to it being top secret and we weren't really supposed to be there. However, we spent a day programming this thing, getting it all set up, and then we got 2 flights in. It was twitchy as heck. The CG was wrong and it really just didn't want to stay in the air. Not to mention all those air problems and problems with the retracts basically coming apart. The main problem here was this part. It's a push rod that simply keeps the wheel pointing in the right direction but allows it to twist when going in. However, it was made out of such thin material that it was just breaking every takeoff, let alone landing. With the owner having gone home, taken the plane with him, and then made all the necessary changes and reinforcements, we were happy to meet up again, this time in Portugal, where once again the plane didn't really want to fly. We added a power box eye gyro which helped stable it out a little bit, but it just wasn't comfortable. Not to mention that we had the same issues with the landing gear, which meant every time we landed we lost the wheel, which meant the wing wanted to find the tarmac. At this point, I really don't want this plane to get the better of me. So in take 3, down south in Malaga, we have another go. This time, having spoken with a couple of guys that actually have this same model, and they confirmed that the original CG is wrong, something that we already knew and have changed in previous flights, we actually now had what we thought was the perfect setting. So off we go again, all the changes made, plane flies worse than ever. It doesn't want to take off, it uses about 600 meters of runway to get off, it wobbles all over the sky even with the gyro on, and then we had the same issue on landing, this time with it humpity bumping all the way down the runway. Again, losing a wheel, scraping the wingtip, losing the missile holders, and a whole load of headaches. And after 2 or 3 flights doing that, changing the CG further, updating things, and trying all kinds of mixes with different taileron settings, adding elevators to ailerons, ailerons to elevators, we can't get it flying right. So we pack up and go home. And that brings us to today. But you'll see one big difference, and it's nothing to do with the plane. I have home advantage, so things are looking up. Hopefully now, being on home turf, access to all of my own gear, we'll be able to get it working. There have also been some big changes. We've ignored the manufacturer's CG. We've ignored mostly the recommended CG from other pilots, and we've taken the last settings and just moved the CG further forwards. Also, a big change is the turbines originally were right in the back at the tail. We've moved those quite a bit further forwards, which has also allowed us to reduce a lot of the nose weight. Why has we done that? The CG at the end of the day is the same. However, with all the weight being closer to the centre, it should also make the elevator a lot more in control. It should do a lot more of what I tell it to do via the radio, as opposed to this that it's doing all the time without. There's a simple explanation for this, even when the CG is correct. And that is, if you get a long broomstick and you put weights on either end of it, or if you put them close to where your hand is and try and wobble it, even though you're holding it in the center in both occasions, when they're close to the center, you have a lot better control. So that's what we're hoping with the turbines further forward and less nose weight. A less pitchy elevator, which we can actually control from the radio. So, time to fuel up, make some noise, and hopefully land it.
Creo que le ha quedado los frenos sale, ¿eh? Y el tiempo como te lo... Yo no tengo ni cronómetro aquí, tío. Que no tengo, soy un desastre, no tengo ni cronómetro. No a cobrar, a ver lo que hace, no creo.
have it. It finally flies, it finally lands, and it actually follows in a straight line. Okay, we still have some air issues. The landing gear still doesn't quite work as it's supposed to. But all in all, the plane now actually wants to fly. It's okay taking off, it's good at landing, and it'll fly in more or less a straight line up in the air. There's still some minor tweaks to be done, but all in all, after 4 attempts, we have a good fun flying airplane. Time to go all Top Gun. Hope you enjoyed the video. It was a pain to make this one, but we're pleased with the outcome. So leave us a like, any comments below, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you all in the next one, which is hopefully a lot easier than this one.